BJ's injury?
Yeah, it's broken clavicle. So it's a timing thing. I would say he's 100% done for the year, but it's something you got to let sit and heal, and we'll put him on IR at some point, and then just see how it heals after that. But potential for return, but again, I think it's too early to tell that.
Will you have to go sign a veteran corner? You kicked the tires a few weeks ago on that.
Yeah, right now we're discussing all the options.
How do you feel like Cam responded given what happened in that game and how he finished that game?
I thought it was better, than when we took him out. Of course, there's some consistency things, some big plays that we gave up that we just can't have happen. But again, he continues to go in there and compete, and I think he's made of the right stuff. Again, we're just looking for the consistency part of it.
When you look at kind of how the defense has given up some big plays, it's been gashed in spurts consistently. Can you put your finger on maybe why that's been the case?
Well, two of those were what we were just talking about, and so again, it's and then there was a couple where Herbert got out, so Rush Lane's got to be a little bit better. He got out on some big runs that ate up a chunk in those drives. So you can put your finger on why it happened. I just think overall it's a consistency thing. 10 guys doing their job, one guy out of place can hurt and look big, tougher in the big picture. But was happy with how they responded in the second half. I thought guys really competed. Even on the road in the situation we were in is tough. And our guys continued to fight. And I thought defensively, there were guys flying around, making some big-time plays, putting a lot of pressure on them, holding them to 3 points up until that final run. So it was proud of the way that those guys responded when you're usually put in that situation. I think you could look around and you're not always going to get that response, and our guys did that. I was proud of them.
Is the bigger concern, Zach, guys not being on the same page?
No, it can be a step out of place. It can be a step out of place. It's not guys not being on the same page. It's just the techniques and the details being a little bit better.
With Cam, is it an issue of getting the play call and being where you're supposed to be, or is it a contingency thing where if the offense presents this, you need to do this? And
No. We're working with everybody to make sure we get everybody on the same page and can play our best football.
How did T and BJ go out of that game?
But BJ fought through it. You could see a couple times he was down there. He knew we needed him. We had 40 tackles at that point in the game with Sheldon, and so I was really impressed by BJ. Really thankful. Really, it took a lot for him to continue to get through that, and so I thought he did. Bye week comes at a really good time for him. Thought T came out well as well.
Is Joe dealing with anything after the body weight penalty?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
What happened with Sheldon Rankins on Saturday?
Was ill, and they had to run some tests to get to the bottom of it. So feeling much better right now. That's about all I got.
Zach, it seemed like at times in the second half the coverage and the defense looked as good as it has all year. What is there during the bye week that you guys can do as you prepare for your next game to make that a more permanent thing?
Yeah, I think, like I said, the issues we had in the first half are easily solvable, and we just got to do a better job of the details.
Zach, when it comes to finishing games, how much of that, in your opinion, falls on the coaching staff to be a part of finishing games?
It all falls on us. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to put our players in the best position possible, and always have to provide them solutions. And sometimes solutions are hard to come by. We've all watched the same games. We've seen how they've ended. They've all ended a little bit differently. And so we got to continue to find ways as coaches to make sure our players have the confidence, they're put in the best spot so that they can make those plays and help us finish those games. So we're all part of it. I do think it absolutely turns to me and trying to find ways to continue to put us in the best positions possible, find ways to put us in the best position possible. I think we've got a really good process that obviously has put us in a position in a lot of these games to be in a spot to win them. We just haven't won them. And, there's not always this easy solution that's just going to hit us right in the face on how this thing's going to change. But I 100% think I got to uncover every stone. And as coaches, we got to make sure our process is perfect to win some of the games that in the past we've won. We've won some close games before in some of these close games. And it's disappointing for everybody right now. I still have a lot of confidence in how we go about things and what we have in front of us going forward. And sometimes it just takes winning one of these games to, okay, there we go. That monkey's off our back a little bit, and now let's go continue and finish. And so sometimes it's just kind of a snowball effect. Unfortunately, the snowball's gone the wrong way for us this year. There's no excuse for that. You know, but we got to find solutions and find a way to finish it.
What did you make of Jamar's comments after the game?
He's emotional, you know, and when you got a guy that works as hard as he does, leaves it all on the field, I do think things, I don't want to say misconstrue, but can look differently than what they really are. But again, he's a guy that is one of the most genuine players I've ever been around, and honest, insightful, puts it all out there for us. I don't have problems with guys that work as hard as they do, speaking with emotion after the game, speaking with passion. He and I are very much on the same page, and appreciate the work he puts in. And sometimes post game, it's emotional, and that's the way it is.
Did y'all have any conversations privately?
No, I talk to Jamar every week, you know, and again, I'm confident that we're always on the same page.
I think something similar might have happened back in 19 with Tyler Boyd, where he was really passionate after a game as well. You kind of had a similar response. Kind of, where does that come from for you as a coach on how to respond to that? I mean, it seems like that's something that's consistent from you from day one. Because
there's not a non-relationship there with the player. You know, these are things that we try to be proactive about to put these guys in the best position possible to succeed. And I feel very confident we put Jamar in the best position possible to succeed. He's first in every category there is. We make a conscious effort to involve him and make sure he's always a big part of that. I always love the dialogue with him in terms of game plan, how we're going to use you. I think he's come along. He's not a captain with it on his chest, but in so many ways he acts like one. So again, I don't ever hold against a player when they're after a game have an emotional response, and so again we'll continue to move forward as a team. But love working with him. Thankful that he's on our team. Love everything he brings to the table. Love the energy he brings, and just wants to win. You know, we all want to win, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself, and when you don't, it can lead to frustration. But feel very confident that we're on the same page, and we'll be good going forward.
Do you find, Zach, when obviously you're examining every detail of every game and every loss, any common denominator that sticks all of these losses?
I wish there was. You know, I think they've all been unique and different in how they've all finished. I wish that there was a simple common denominator that we could put our finger on and find that solution. Like I said, it's one of those things when you can just find that first one where you win it at the end of the game and there's kind of that relief from the team, then you continue to build off that. So I feel very confident with this team going forward that there's still a lot in front of us. There's still a lot of opportunity. We're not writing anything off. Of course, we're frustrated and disappointed, but it won't change anything in terms of how we get after it with the energy and the right confidence moving forward.
Obviously, the camera's on Joe throughout the game. When you see his emotions, you see him dejected after the game, where would you say Joe Burrow's mindset is at with regard to this team?
Just trying to find ways to win. He's about all the right stuff. We're all disappointed with the effort and the work that goes in from everybody, you know, in all corners of the locker room, every area that touches this team. And he's obviously a huge part of it, playing at an extremely high level, doing a lot of things to help us try to win these games. And when you come up short, it's frustrating, certainly. And, you know, again, we'll continue to stick together and move forward and find a way to win.
I was wondering how you thought Josh played.
Thought he played good.
And what role now?
Yeah.
Is he ready to be opposite Cam?
Yeah, bigger role for sure. You know, especially with DJ going, that changes a lot of things, obviously, when you lose one of your starters. But I thought Josh Newton played outstanding. I thought he was competitive, got put in a lot of man-to-man situations and made plays on the ball, brought a lot of energy to the table. Really good to see that confidence from a rookie step up in a moment like that and play to the level he did. So certainly, you know, circumstance is going to bring more opportunity, but I also think that he's earned it as well.
I know there's always pressure on kind of for y'all to succeed regardless of whatever the season is. Do you feel, is there any added pressure internally given how well Joe's playing, how well Jamar's playing, to make sure that you don't squander kind of the seasons they're having, make sure you maximize that as much as possible?
Yeah, I mean, all we ever want to do is win, and so there's always pressure I'm putting on myself. I mean, you feel it's hard to put into words. You feel it every second of every day, the urgency to win and to find ways to win. And I think pressure is not the right word because we know what we sign up for, and that comes with the business. You don't feel that necessarily. You just feel the urgency. We put in a lot of work. We got a good football team. We need to win. And how can we do that? We haven't done it. So is there anything we need to do differently to try to find that? So it's more just that's this business, and that's our expectation for ourselves. That's our standard for ourselves. It's frustrating when you don't get it done, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change our mindset, our purpose moving forward. That's still the same to get on the right track.
Is it, I guess, the pressure's not the right word, urgency is it
Mhm.
heightened given how well those guys are playing?
Well, we know. I don't get into certain guys. It's this team. It's all about the team. It's always been about the team. And that's what you appreciate. Those two guys you keep mentioning, Jamar and Joe, they just want to win, And so whatever we got to do as a team to find that, we got a lot of guys like that in this locker room that oftentimes don't get the credit that the other guys get that are laying it all out there to help us win. And so that's what drives me. Of course, you want to win for the. I know it changes everybody's week when you win. Trust me. But at the same time, you just see the work that all these guys in this locker room put in. You want to win for them first and foremost because of the blood and sweat they put into it. The coaching staff that's here at all hours, and we put in. We just want to win as well. So feel what everybody feels, and we're continuing to find ways to do that.
Is Darren able to pinpoint what's going on with Evan right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously 2 opportunities Evan would like to have back. Yeah, internally, I think fundamentally those 2 can go through it. I won't get into it with you, but again, I have confidence in Evan. Evan's, I'm sure at this point his career has been through moments like this in his lifetime, and understands everything that's at stake and things he's got to improve on, and have a ton of confidence in Evan, and that's not changing on my end.
You say the mindset for the team for the last 6 games is that we're in the playoffs from December 1st now?
I don't phrase it that way because, again, it's so hard to look down the road. You have to look at Pittsburgh. That's it. Because if you find yourself looking beyond that and you don't put forward your best effort, then what are those other games, So I think that's where our mindset is right now. I know that's where our mindset is right now. We just got to focus all our attention on Pittsburgh, and then you go from there. And, of course, as a coach, you look big picture, by myself, and I'm sure other people do. But as a team, it's just we got to find a way to win this next one at home. Pittsburgh, it's a meaningful game in a lot of ways, for us, for our fans here in our stadium, and got to find a way to just go 1-0 in that game and then move forward beyond that.
Are there ways the process changes at the ends of games, both offensive and defensive side, in terms of play calling? Are there more voices involved because there's more variables? Are there any ways that things change for you at the end of game for both you and Lou in calling games?
Changing from past,
is there anything
or
in terms of the way that you call plays, people that are maybe more involved, where there's more situations you're having to think about? Like, does it change at all at the end of games?
it's the same as it's been. I don't know if that's what you're asking. Years past.
Compared to the rest of a regular game. Sorry, I'm butchering this. But.
It's a good question. It's a hard one to specifically say because you're always in that moment, and I wish there was a recorder that could record everything we're saying, everything you're thinking in those moments. There's a lot of I can speak more so offensively calling plays. There's a lot of situations you're trying to think through, time management, points, how aggressive do we need to be here, factoring in what the other team's offense is capable of. So there's a lot of things you factor in. I would say there's the communication is the same throughout the game. I think at the end of the day, it's very similar communication. We're all trying to be proactive. There's a lot of smart people on the headset whose opinions I value. Through 6 years now, everyone's pretty clear on when to speak and what voice you want to hear. So I think those are things that we've ironed out over the years, and I feel very comfortable with how that communication takes place at the end of the game.
11 games, when you look at, in the past we've asked you about the offense, and you've always said, you guys really pride yourselves on being explosive. There seems to be, themes that are really important to you when you look at, and I know you guys do a thorough evaluation of each position and each level, but through 11 games, what do you feel like is missing most on the defense? If you could pick one thing.
Well, I just think overall, I I thought third down was excellent in this last game. I think in some of the games where the performances haven't been as good, that's an area you can point to. Just getting off the field on third down, because there's been some good first and second down snaps where maybe we're controlling the run game, and then you're just giving them that extra length in the possession on third down. And just overall, just finding consistency with consecutive stops. That's a key thing that I think allows you to get into a rhythm. You saw that in the second half the other day. A lot of stops in a row, held them to 3 points till the very end, and that's what allowed the offense to really to continue to stockpile the points. And so continue to see more of that. Obviously, I think that goes without being said, but was really impressed with the way that they came together there in the second half and gave this team the opportunity to win it.
Is there anything differently you're going to do during this bye week, maybe other bye weeks, as you kind of map out?
No, we've still got our process. We've been in the office, still going through, making sure we look at every area. Each coach kind of has their own area they deal with, and anything that needs to be addressed that way. Personnel-wise, we have conversations. Now's the time to kind of sit back and look at your personnel and, see if anybody snaps need to increase anywhere, anything we need to do differently in that regard. So I don't think, you go into the bye week and there's all this crazy stuff that happens. There's a process you follow that we try to follow as the season goes as well. Coming out of a Thursday game gives you a little bit, after Baltimore. So you get these moments where you got to take advantage of them, try to stay ahead, and we've been doing that, over the course of the season.
You talked about guys that maybe weren't getting the praise that they should have been playing pretty well. Are there guys that you think are worth highlighting to us that you feel like have probably deserve more credit?
Well, I think there's guys that play through a lot of crap, where they're banged up and they're giving us everything you got, and you can count on them, and they're doing a great job from a leadership standpoint. And in the locker room, anytime you're losing close games, there's always those guys behind the scenes that are doing an excellent job of making sure no one strays and everyone understands the purpose and staying together. And so I think our leadership on our team always have really good conversations with those guys, whether it's together or just some one-offs, to make sure you're aware of everything. And that's what gives you a lot of hope and positivity moving forward, that we got a good collection of guys that are about the right stuff. They understand there's still a lot to play for. They understand it's not out of our control. It's not completely out of our control. You just go win, and good things can happen, and you can turn this into a really special season. That'll be worth remembering. And December football is upon us, and that's when you always got to play your best football. And now more than ever, that's when we got to play our best football.
Did you notice anything starkly different between the first defensive series of the other night? Because it seemed like it went very well, and then the next three.
Just the explosives. We're in a second 15, and he sneaks through for 35 yards or whatever it was. We got good calls on two of those touchdowns there. We're in really good position. I think one was just short of the goal line, one was a touchdown, and you just got to be on top of the details there, and you got a great opportunity to put them in tougher situations. And so I think just those big plays are what got us there.
You need more production from Miles, Sam, and Joseph across from Trent.
Do we need more production? Yeah, I think we need production from everybody on our football team.
People tend to view the bye through the lens of, the physical rest and getting healthy. But how big is for the players, but just the mental?
Yes. Yeah, I think it is. I think for everybody, you're nonstop. How many? 11 weeks. We played 11 games, I think. You're nonstop, and mentally and physically. So while we all recognize there's a lot of work to be done, there's a lot of things to make sure that we're all on the same page moving forward and can put our best foot effort. At the same time, it is important to get a mental rest, to get a physical rest for all of us, players, coaches. So we're in the building. We're putting in the work. We're going to make sure we're ready to go for Pittsburgh. But at the same time, take time for yourself to see the family that you haven't seen in 11 weeks. And because then you come back, you're as motivated as ever, you're as fresh as ever. You feel like you've gotten to address all areas of your life. And I think that's critical. And I know probably the mindset of some people is, you should be in here you're 4 and 7. You should be working 7 days a week during the bye week. What are you doing? But we've been through this enough to know what the solutions are and how to take care of ourselves so that we can be better going forward.
You're 3-0 after the bye the last 3 years. It is pretty significant wins, too. Has that been a product of the rest, or has that just been you guys just happen to play well in those games?
Hopefully I've got the right answer, and it'll just come out of us when we play next Sunday. But I can't put my finger on one reason why we've done a good job of that. I appreciate the compliment, though.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.